This is the midday sun, the searing heat of about 30 plus degrees, around about 30 degrees, and the worship is relentless. It goes on 24 hours a day, and this is the part of the day when there are the least people out worshipping, and yet still I'd say that the Holy Mosque in Mecca at the Kaaba is about 3/4 or nearly 3/4 full. And in the middle, people are toe to toe, and many, as recommended, yearn to touch the black stone. And it is from the black stone that they start their Tawaf, or the circling of the Kaaba. One Tawaf is 7 circles, starting from the black stone and ending on the black stone. Majority of people here are not in ihram, i.e. not in a state for the Umrah, the small Hajj, as some people like to call it, Umrah. Or the small pilgrimage. Many simply circle the Kaaba as a form of worship, reciting prayers, asking for forgiveness, reading parts of the Quran. And we can see at the back actually as a visible group. And there are many groups, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of groups. They come, some 200 or 300, and they divide them into 20s and 30s. And then we can see at the back there's one such group in green, and they go along, and they'll each have a guide or two. Mostly it's one guide. Very often that guide is at the head of the group and helping them to recite many of the prayers they might wish to say for themselves and their family, those who passed away and have died, those who are living today, and for those who are yet to be born. I'm going to try and see if I can home in into that group. You might be able to see, although the zoom here is not terribly good, but I hope it will give you an idea of that group there in the green. Many people talk about the 7 wonders of the world. I perhaps think there's no doubt that this place is perhaps the most wondrous thing of the world, and I say this really without much doubt, simply because it's a place where worship goes on every minute of the day, every day of the week, every month of the year, and ear on ear on ear, relentless worship that sees to see no sign of abating, but only increasing as the world becomes richer, travel becomes easier, then more Muslims will want to come and be at their most favorite place in the whole world. And as the Muslims throughout the world increase, either through conversion or through birth, the challenge for the Saudi government remains. And we can see just at the back where the cranes are, they're building on the 3rd floor, an area where Hazrat Hajar, the mother of Prophet Ismail, peace be upon him, was running between the mountains of Safa and Marwa to look for help and for water and some food. So the population is so great that the ground floor and the first floor cannot cope, and hence for the next Hajj, the Saudi government, and rightly so, is building another area. Every year that we sort of come, or every few years that we come, we find some improvements going on to make life easy for the worshippers. New things are created to help them. New guides, new posters, new pieces of information are there to help them. And the most amazing thing is, we see no arguments going on as befitting those who come on Hajj. No fighting, no shouting, no screaming. People hit each other, they apologize and they move on. And they might get hit dozen, maybe more than dozen, 40, 50 times when they're perhaps performing Tawaf and Sa'i, which is between the two mountains of Safa and Marwa. They might collide 100 times, maybe more. And yet people remain peaceful and calm. And this place, no doubt, remains one of the most calmest places I have ever come across in my life. Perhaps the most calmest place. Another place I guess we'll get to know is the Prophet's Mosque, peace be upon him, in Medina. And there's a great difference in crowds. Although here I expect when it's full, over 2 million people will be here. The Prophet's Mosque, peace be upon him, we expect about 1.5 million maximum to be there. And again, many Muslims look forward to being at the Prophet's Mosque and worshipping there.